Welcome back, everyone. So on today's episode we are going to cover the Hobie PA 14 revised. So we're going to do a walkthrough of the kayak and the revisions I have made since the last time I posted a video covering my Hobie PA 14. I'm going to put links in the description for the companies of the products I'm using, but I'm not going to leave a link for exactly each item. I'm going to actually tell you in this video the product number or SKU number of the product that I'm using on this kayak. This way you can just jot it down and you can just go and just either Google that, or you can go to the links below and go to the website of the companies and find it there. So this is how I have my kayak set up, either for tournament fishing or for just everyday fun fishing. I'm just gonna kind of do a walk around, and then we're gonna go from bow to stern and cover every product that's on this kayak and accessories that do not come with this kayak. So here in the bow, I really don't store much in here anymore. All I do is I keep my PFD in here until I put it on, and that's where I store it. I keep almost like a launch rope in here. When I'm running off like a bank or something, I can kind of just push the kayak out and pull it back. I keep some tie wraps in here, toilet paper, extra identifier holder for my bump board, and when I'm saltwater fishing, I got a little pair of Rapala grips in here. I've added some stuff to this kayak from the last video I did, right up front here, and this is the AR tube from Yak Attack. It's the AR tube holder with track mounted lock and load system, part number RHM-1003. And as you see, it's got the quick release that you pull, and it's sitting right there. Hold on, let me get my paddle out of the way. So as you see, it's got the quick release, got the thumb. You can just spin it around when you're on the water and adjust this. And what I do with this is where I keep my rod after I catch a fish. I throw it in the rod tube. It holds it in place either while I'm either taking the hook out of the fish's mouth, or this is where I throw my rod in when I'm doing, tying a new lure on. It just holds it, up front in front of me, and that's where I store my rod in those two scenarios. We have the Garmin 73 SV, the Striker 73 SV, which stands for side view. And with the newer Hobie kayaks, you do have transducer cable release. So basically what this does is it lowers the transducer below the kayak for the side view image, and when you're bringing it in on shore or storing it, you can pull that back and it retracts the transducer up inside the hull of the boat to protect it. This is the non-GPS version, so it's strictly just a fish finder. That's how you can look it up on the Garmin website. One of the new items that I have added is the Yak Attack double header with the dual roto grip paddle holder. And sometimes I rest my rods on here, and this is part number TMA-1002. And I have it mounted to the Hobie universal flat plate for the H-rail. You can see I just have it screwed through, and it's sitting on the Hobie flat plate that you can get. As you can see, it just comes off real easy. And that's how I have it mounted. I actually ran the screw from the Yak Attack double header here right through and just drilled a hole into that. And it's mounted to the H plate. As you see, it holds my Hobie standard paddle that comes with the boat, and I just leave the T handle on it because that's all I ever use to push offshore or coming in. I don't use the full paddle, but I do keep the rest of the paddle underneath the front hatch holder here, and as you see, I have it sitting down inside, so if I ever get into a problem and I gotta get it out, I just store it underneath the kayak as the full piece. I do use the full paddle though if I know I'm gonna be shallow all day or around rock beds, and I know I'm not going to use the fins as much. I will leave my paddle put together on the Yak Attack double header. So the Hobie obviously comes with the standard fishing rod holders that go in go into the rod tubes on the PA. I have the standard cup holder. Next item in line is the Boonedox Groovy landing gear. I have added that to the kayak. I've had this system in the past. You can see they've changed their wheel design from the initial landing gear that they used to have. But the Groovy landing design is nice, or landing gear is nice, because it has the track built in along their whole system. So any of your T-slot bolts can fit into this. You can have things mounted behind your seat, but obviously I really don't keep much behind here. Now unless I get something that kind of comes out and sits around the seat, because you can see the way my seat's reclined, it would be hitting the backrest of the seat. But you can add a whole bunch of accessories to this, and have flexible mounts, maybe come around for your camera and get it almost like a side view going down into your kayak while you're fishing. That's an option as well. But the landing gear, the Groovy landing gear, has come useful, because that's where I mount my Anchor Wizard low profile setup. I actually mount it with some of the T-slots, and I use these little thumb screws to hold it on. It gives me quick access to taking it off real easy without having any Allen keys or anything with me. I can loosen these thumb screws if I need to take this off and repair it, take it apart and repair it when I'm on the water. So back to the Boonedox Groovy landing gear. The part number on that is BDXGLGPA is the part number on the Boonedox Groovy landing gear for the Hobie PA, either the 12 or the 14. And they have it set up a little bit different, because it comes with a larger back plate that supports underneath the mounting hardware, underneath the plastic part of the hull here. It's a larger 9-inch plate, that helps support the weight of the Hobie, because with nothing on it, pre-rigged, it's 120 pounds. So a lot of people don't want to put this system on their kayak because they're worried about drilling holes into it, or they're worried. There's been problems in the past where people have had this area crack, and it was on the camo one for a while because maybe it was a little thinner here. But this is my second set on the desert color Hobie, and I guess if you're going through the woods and you're really going over some bumpy terrain and over logs, it may put too much stress in this area, but I don't do that. Normally I will go through a little bit of woods, but most of my launching is either from a boat ramp or from at least a dirt road or a sandy area. So I'm not really concerned about this breaking or starting to crack the kayak here. Drilling the holes into the kayak, yes, it does void your warranty for the most part, I guess, if they prove that this is causing the damage. I know a lot of people are scared to do it, but it is what it is. I mean, you can repair these kayaks with some torches, heating up and doing some JB weld. I mean, there's a way to repair it, but I mean, like I said, this is my second set and I haven't had any problems. The Anchor Wizard itself, there really is no part number for it. I'm sure if you look for it, there probably is, but this is just a low profile version. It's mounted to the Groovy landing gear, and as you see, I took a little piece of PVC like trim for your house. I painted it black, which I can see I need a little touch up there, and I put some stainless steel hardware through it, and that helps support, like when it lifts and the downforce, it gives it something to push against on the, it almost creates a base for it, I guess you could say. And then I took some of these night eyes ties, these rubber ties you can buy at the local hardware store. I think they sell them at Home Depot, and I tied it around the Hobie paddle holder, which I don't use. There's a hole through here, and it just helps give this a little bit more support, minus these thumb screws on the landing gear. I got a little bit of a leg for it to stand on, basically, with some PVC, and I got it tied around everything, and it's sturdy. I mean, it moves a little bit, but when you're on the water, it doesn't move that bad. So this system was on the initial review of this kayak. All I did was taking the release on this, or the hardware the anchor slides on from Anchor Wizard. It's just screwed through the kayak itself, with also some nice heavy duty black silicone as almost like a glue to help support to this, and screwed in with some stainless hardware. And it's, don't look at this part, but this part it's like one piece to the kayak. It ain't gonna come off. That's how I have it mounted, but that was on the original kayak to begin with. The anchor itself I picked up locally at a kayak supply place. I don't know the part number on this. It is a 3-pound grappling style anchor itself. It's 3 pounds. It holds me just fine. you know, on the windier days, just like a regular boat, you want to let out a little bit more line so these grip into the ground. And I've had no problems of this holding me at all, even on 20-30 mile per hour wind days, sustained wind. You know, I place myself where I want to be, upstream or downstream, but obviously whatever the way the wind's going to blow, I like facing towards where I'm fishing, obviously, and it holds me in the back. Besides the Boonedox landing gear and a few other little add-ons like the double header, one major change I've done to this kayak is adding the Yak Attack Black Pack Pro, and this is the 16x16 large. So the part number on this is BLP-Pro-16x16 for Yak Attack. So the reason why I changed to this system is because you can see it's got the built-in you know, rod tubes, and I did a video on putting this thing together, but the main reason is you can see it has the built-in tethers, so it helps me feel a little bit more confident when you have a, you know, a little bit more of a pricier reel on here that I've already had in the past, where I've hooked these before and pulled the actual reel and rod into the water and I lost it because my lure caught on it when I was on my back, you know, on my back swinging my stroke, I guess you could say, for my cast. I've actually hooked a pole in the past and pulled it right into the water and lost it. So at least with this, with these tethers on here, I have that little bit of security that these will not come off that easy. And if heaven forbid I do tip or, you know, lean too far, at least my rods are going to be attached to this Black Pack from Yak Attack, and it's going to stay on the kayak. And the reason is I got the Omni hooks. I end up using them, putting them on, and I got these two corners secured with the bungees, you know, from the Hobie itself. And once again, I have the night eyes ties, which I'm going to show you a box of these. I wrapped them around the landing gear and I got the front. Now I could have manipulated the bungee from, you know, Hobie, but end up just putting these on here, and these will not let go. These do not have a load rating as far as like carrying on the roof and stuff, but these will not come undone, and this will definitely stay on the kayak no matter what. So this is one of my biggest changes. I mean, you can see from my previous video, I used to take my pack outs, you know, from Milwaukee, and they would slide onto the Milwaukee pack out crate and lock into position, almost kind of make it a lid. I've changed from using the full size large ones on the kayak itself. I use the, you know, half size ones. Two of those will fit inside of here if you watch this video when I put together. I may tighten this up a little bit more, yeah, but it will stay once you push it far enough back. So two of the little ones will fit inside here, and inside here itself, besides the two Milwaukee pack outs, I could probably fit three, is I have one of my Nocqua batteries, and this is one of the 10 amp hour Pro kits hooked up to the Nocqua dual port USB adapter. And that's, I have screwed, you know, made a hole in the side of the Black Pack, and this is, as you see, it's lit up. It gives me 5 volt at 1 amp or 5 volt at 2.1 amps. And this is where I plug in to charge my phone if needed on the water, and this also operates my GoPro, which I keep at the top of the Yak Attack Boomstick Pro. That Yak Attack Boomstick Pro part number is CMS-1003. And this is where I put my GoPro on, and it gets my footage over my shoulder when I'm out here filming. There is no part number for the Nocqua, but if you go on their website, you can see this USB adapter, you know, the dual port USB adapter from Nocqua. And I got the 10 amp hour battery in there, which runs my GoPro and charges my phone when I'm on the water if needed. I did have to make some notes when I was filming this, and I have a piece of paper for that. That's probably what you see her rattling around there. But the only alterations I had to do to that is I took a multi-tool and I just kind of got rid of some of the screw bosses. So the lock nut on the back of this, the USB charging port, would sit flush against this. It was almost fitting in between all the screw bosses, but I just took a multi-tool and kind of flattened them out and got rid of them. That way that tightens up nice, you know, nice and tight against the back of the Black Pack. So I keep talking about these night eyes. They're called gear ties. They come in different sizes and they come in different colors, and they're almost like a twisty tie in a loaf of bread, but they're rubber coated and they got metal inside to hold their position once you twist those up. But you can buy these at Home Depot, but I kind of use them a lot because they're rubber coated, so I don't have to worry about the rust. And I didn't think I would ever change this and get rid of the Milwaukee, but I do like this because when I went to ICAST, I saw these, you know, the Blackpack Pros, since they've changed it now with the screw bosses. It makes it interesting because you can add a whole bunch of things to this with some stainless steel screws. You can manipulate the rod tubes. You can change them in the back, the front. You can put, you know, they're coming out with all sorts of accessories to put on this system. But as you see, I've changed to the smaller Milwaukee packouts overall, which I've had some. And so I can fit 2 of the Milwaukee packouts in the back of the Blackpack Pro, and I can store 6 of them underneath my seat, but I normally just run with 4 underneath my seat. And the reason is, besides keeping them in the Blackpack Pro, I keep all my soft plastics. Sorry, let me get a better angle here. I do keep all my soft plastics in the tub insert that I added to this as well. I'm not going to do a part number on this right now because I have a new one coming, made by Berley Pro, and once I do, I'll give you guys the part number on that insert. But this is just your standard insert from them, but the same made by Berley Pro. This is made by some aftermarket place. It's just an insert, but you know, I made my own little ties to pick it up and out. But this is where I keep all my soft plastics, my sunscreen, fluorocarbon, bug spray, and I know I have some other stuff down in here. Oh, I keep my knife in there, you know, my gator proof knife basically, in case I have to get a little vicious with them. But that's what I keep inside this hatch instead of using the 3600 planos, that, you know, the insert that comes with the Hobie. You know, I eliminated that and put that tub in, but I do have the heavier duty one coming from Berley Pro shortly. So the part number for the Berley Pro, I'm just looking up now on my phone, it's called the Bucket Bro, and that SKU number is BP2625. That is the new insert that's coming for the inside of this. It's just a little bit thicker plastic and has a little bit better way of, you know, retrieving it from inside. And I'm sorry, I did skip the, it doesn't go from bow to stern, but inside my 8-inch hatch in the back, which you can see even with the large pack, it still gives you access to it. And this is where I keep my Berley Pro dual battery mount to hold one of my other Nocqua, which, you know, they teamed up with Yak Attack at one point, but this is where I keep my other 10 amp hour Nocqua battery. And as you can see, it gives you 2 mounts, you know, the ability to have 2 smaller batteries on this. So you can see that there is one on here now. I'm going to have another one probably added on here soon for probably running some other navigational lights, because I plan on getting the motor, and that's what's going to run my lights. And I'm going to mount the other battery on this side. So I'll have 2 batteries here, and I have one in my Blackpack Pro that does my charging for my camera and when I need to charge on my phone, you know, on the USB ports. Part number here for the double battery holder, and it's made for other batteries besides Nocqua. I think it actually shows it being for the FPV batteries, I think. But this part number for this is BP1416, and it's the Berley Pro 8-inch hatch dual battery holder. But this is the Yak Attack 12-inch gear track on the back of the kayak here, and I actually bolted it right through, drilled holes, made my, you know, put my arm inside the hatch and got the little lock nuts and stainless steel nuts themselves, or lock washers and nuts, through this. And you can see I did all these to hold this track, so this is super sturdy. Once again, I ran some silicone underneath this as well to help adhere to this once it, you know, cured, and also seal the holes that I drilled through the kayak. I've had no water in this kayak whatsoever, taken, you know, numerous big waves over this. But I also have this, and the reason why I added this, because there's no track back here from Hobie, is to hold the, you know, the Yak Attack boomstick, and also the Pole 2 flag, which I currently do not have on here right now because I snapped it. It was my mistake. I was reaching back, trying to turn off the battery, you know, trying to turn off the light on top. We all know how you you got to untwist those to loosen up the batteries or turn them off. While I was trying to do it from my seat, trying to pull it towards me, I snapped it. So I have to get a replacement flag yet, and that's the 2 main reasons I put this gear track on the back, is to hold the flag behind the camera so it wouldn't block the camera, and to hold my boomstick. So as you come around, once again, you just have your standard rod holders here on the H-rail, and, you know, for your rod tubes. But one other addition to recently, is actually 2 more additions, is I got a new catch board up to 32 inches from Catch itself. I got my, you know, RJM fishtails on it. I got my name on top of it engraved. I went black. I went 32 inches. And what's holding this, there really is no part number for this. It's just go on their website. You can just find the 32 inch, you know, aluminum bump board from Catch. But I did add the Yak Gadget H-rail, you know, Hobie H-rail mounted bump board holder. Once again, Yak Gadget doesn't really have a part number on this. You know, it's just a CNC plastic, but it's made for the Hobie H-rail. They go around here. We could actually tighten these up a little bit. Seems like they got a little looser over time here, a little bit in the back. But this is what holds my bump board on the outside of my kayak, and it's easy access. I got a tether. It's tethered off, tied off. Starting to rust a little bit. You know, they say it's stainless steel, but whatever. Salt water gets out there, everything if it ain't true stainless. And you can see it tethers around and holds them in place front and back. But I barely ever use those, even when I'm on the water. It's once it's sitting in here, it doesn't go anywhere. It does rattle around a little bit, but it does. I haven't had it fall off yet. I think only time I just put this on is when I'm transporting to the water on the wheels, just so it keeps it from, you know, having the ability to slide off, which would take a lot, or because there is rubber feet underneath these. So it kind of holds it in place, but I do tie this on when I'm transporting to the water, and then once I'm on the water, I take that bungee off and we're good to go. So the last upgrade to the kayak to date is the articulating, by Yak Attack, articulating camera mount, and that's part number CMC-1004. I do have the snap mounts mounted to it, so I can just take my camera off my vest. It's magnetic. I slap it on here. I can film myself back towards the seat, and then I just loosen this up, which I kind of just leave it loose anyway, and just kind of fold it back out of the way when I'm done with it. But that's mounted to the Hobie, you know, built-in kind of gear tracks up front here, which are plastic. These are being that they are plastic, they are replaceable. As you can see, even the stainless hardware from Hobie starting to rust a little bit on this, and it's just from salt water. I think, you know, salt water kills everything. So basically, this is an overall walkthrough again of my Hobie PA 14. This is a, I forgot, I'd have to look it up. It's either a 21 or a 22. I'd have to look at my last video, but it's been held up pretty good. I've had it for almost a year now. And as you can see, I'll just do one more walk around. And as you see, I have it sitting on a cart that I keep in my garage now. Because if you've been following along, I do have a new way I'm going to be transporting my kayak. And that'll be coming up in some future videos. But I'll just kind of do a walkthrough again. Walk around. Go over some part numbers once more at the end here. I will add these in, you know, the links in the description below of Yak Attack, Yak Gadget, Nocqua, Garmin, Berley Pro, and Boonedox. And then I'm going to go over these part numbers for you one more time and kind of go through them. But this is my walk around overview of the Hobie PA, how I have it set up for fishing and for tournament fishing, no matter what, whether it's fun or tournament fishing. The setup does not change. Besides adding a motor to this, which is going to be coming shortly, I made my final decision. That'll be a future video coming up. I may upgrade the Garmin to a GPS version, so I can kind of mark when I catch fish where I'm at. For the most part, and most of the bodies of where I'm on, I can kind of visually remember where I'm at, but obviously you're not going to be able to find that at certain hole where they're holding, you know, really without searching for it back and forth. So I may upgrade this to a GPS version to, you know, to mark fish. Now when you're on the water with this, you can kind of do like a you know, peanut trail of where you've been, and you can mark it that way. But if you leave, you know, that body of water and you come back, you know, a month later, 2 months later, a year later, at least you'll have it saved in your system, and you can go back to those spots where you previously caught fish, and hopefully they're still there, or there's even more there. You know, that's the, you know, that's the goal for that reason. You know, that's the reason why I want to change this system. So I like the setup so far. We are not changing anything else to this as far as add-ons, but we will be upgrading, like I said, the Garmin, and probably, well, not probably, we are adding a rear mounted motor. So that's all I'm saying for right now. I'm not going to tell you what brand it is, but we are going to be getting the adapter plate, which that I'll tell you, I'm going to probably get the adapter plate from One Ejective. Obviously, you remove the 4 screws out of here. You get 2 screws that, you know, the plate mounts in the front here. It comes back. They have their attachment wraps around this back handle, It still leaves you access to the handle in the middle to grab this, and that's the mount we're going to be going with. It's going to be a rear mounted motor. The brand, that'll be a secret until you guys watch, in some future videos coming up. We're going to keep that a secret for right now. So just to recap the part numbers for you guys, I'm going to look at my notes and my list, but starting from the bow to the front, from the bow to the stern, we have the Yak Attack articulating camera mount. That's what holds my GoPro when I'm facing me, when I want it to face me. That part number is CMC-1004. Then on the right side, you have AR tube holder from Yak Attack with track mounted lock and load system. You mount that base plate to the, your gear tracks, whatever. You can flip that switch on the one side, release that, spin it, put it back down, etc. That part number is RHM-1003. Next, you have the Garmin Striker 73SV. That's just strictly fish finder, no GPS. That's made by Garmin. Other side, you have the Yak Gadget bump board holder for the Hobie H-Rail. Just go on Yak Gadget, you can't miss it. You have the Berley Pro Bucket Bro, which is SKU BP 2625. That's going to be the insert that I have currently right now between my legs, but I'm getting the upgraded version from Berley Pro, which will be black. It's a little bit harder plastic. You have the Yak Attack double header paddle holder with a dual roto grip handle or paddle. Let me say that. You have the Yak Attack double header with a dual roto grip paddle holder. That's part number TMA 1002. And that's mounted on the Hobie H-Rail universal flat plate. Same thing for my Garmin, I forgot to cover that. My Garmin, same thing, is mounted on that Hobie universal flat plate. Then you come to the back, you have the Boonedox groovy landing gear, for the Hobie PA 14. That's part number BDX-GLG-PA. Then of course you have the Yak Attack Black Pack Pro 16x16. That is part number BLP-Pro, PRO-16x16. Then inside that you have the Nocqua 10 amp hour Pro kit, and I have that attached to the Nocqua dual port USB adapter, which I showed you how I install that. You drill a hole through the side of the back black pack, multi-tooled, and remove some of the screw bosses, so that's sat flat inside there. I was hoping it would sit in between those screw bosses, but it didn't, so I had to just kind of, alter that a little bit, no big deal. And then as you come to the back, you got the other Nocqua 10 amp hour battery kit, which powers my Garmin. It's attached to the Berley Pro 8-inch hatch dual battery holder. That's part number BP1416. As you come around from the back, head up the left side, we have the Yak Attack GT90 12-inch gear track, part number GT90-12. That's from Yak Attack. That's what's screwed and holding my boomstick and also where my flag goes. Then obviously I have my Yak Attack Boomstick Pro camera mount. That's part number CMS-1003. As you go up the side, you have the Yak Gadget bump board holder for the H-Rail. Just go on their website, you can find that pretty easily. Did miss there was the Anchor Wizard. So there is really no part number for that. It's just called the low profile Anchor Wizard. When you go on their website, currently it shows it out of stock. So I don't know if they're stopped making it or they don't have enough right now to put out, but on their website it does show out of stock. But that's the low profile Anchor Wizard, and it comes with its own mount for the back that you can just put your anchor on. That's just a 3-pound grappling anchor. I bought it at a local place. There's no part number on it, no name on it. It just says made in China, unfortunately, but it works fine, and I think it was like 25 bucks. In 6 years I haven't changed much on my two Hobie PA 14s as far as setup. I've added this year quite a few, not quite a few, but probably like 3 or 4 more accessories just because I'm recording videos and have a little bit set up for that. But as far as the fishing setup, I haven't changed much except for adding that. I started out with the milk crate like everybody else. I went to the Milwaukee pack out now in the Yak Attack Black Pack Pro. Now unless they change something drastically to that system, that'll probably be the system I ride and die with until they finally maybe come out with something even crazier. But I believe in all the products I have on this. In my opinion, this is the best setup for tournament fishing, and everything's right at my reach. If you guys have any questions or need to know anything a little bit more detailed, just drop a comment I'm very responsive on YouTube. I get back to everybody, or try to get back to everybody for the most part. I try not to miss a comment. I always try to reply to all you guys because I appreciate you. So, you know, only thing I'm going to be changing to this yet is adding a rear mounted motor, which is there'll be a surprise. There'll be a video down the road for that. But in those 6 years, I've only changed the way I have transported my kayak numerous times, and I'm changing one more time. It'll probably be the final time I change until my son comes out with me. Then I'll go back to a trailer. But if you guys have been following along, I'm getting rid of my trailer. Actually, just got rid of my trailer today, and I'm coming up with a new way to transport my kayak. And it's going to be made for any truck I have along the way. Stay tuned. That video will be coming up shortly too. But next video out after this will probably be on the water. So until next time, guys, I hope you guys liked the video. Like I said, if you have any questions or need any clarification on anything, just drop a comment. I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you next time.